Titanium. Wednesday head shave with a leaf razor, and third use of the Supermax Titanium. Welcome back all to Shaving with Peg Leg. Welcome to my barber shop. Come on in, have a seat. After we're done with the fat guy in the camera, you'll be next. Excuse me. Every time. I said last time I'm going to show you these. These are box cutters. More than razors. Neither one of these blades is sharp enough to even cut the hair on my arm. This is a lock back. And there's this one. This is more like a straight. That's tight. That pin is tight. I can see this one being used more like a straight than the other one, because the other one locks into position and this one doesn't. But eventually I'll put an edge on him and then we'll give him a shot. What the hell? Why not, right? Give it a try. Thought I'd show you those, since I forgot to bring them down last time. Just doing a regular leaf head shave with third use on the Supermax Titanium blade. See how it goes. I'm going to use the 30 millimeter Maseto brush today, but first my pre-shave. Bit. Set the glasses over there. Set my eyes over there so I can't see anything. Just using the LaToja shave stick today. Not sure how I want to go about this. I want to let's just try this, see what happens. We're going to do it over the sink because this brush is really wet. I'm just doing this. Just loading this sucker up. I'll take some of that soap off of there. Took a shower, soaked my brush before I went in the shower. When I got out of the shower, I changed out the water, put fresh hot water in, and this brush is really warm, which of course is making the lather really warm, which is always a good thing. Hang on one second. This bathroom's so small. You take a shower in here, it's just so, even with the fan blowing on you, it's so flipping hot afterwards. Alright, you ready? Here we go. So you guys got plans for New Year's Eve? I'll be at home. I've always called New Year's Eve amateur night, because that's when all the people who don't drink go out and drink. You know, the ones that don't drink who go out and drink get their first DUI. And that's why for New Year's Eve, I like to stay home. I used to have to work every holiday when I did security, and I did mobile patrol. I would have to go around and check different places, make sure the doors were locked, windows weren't broken, that type of thing. Sometimes it was car lots, and you had to walk around and check every car on the lot, make sure the doors were locked and they didn't leave keys in them. that type of stuff. Hang on. I forgot my skin grabber. And it did put a frickin' nick in me on this side, let me tell you what. But I used to have to do that, and I used to have to work New Year's Eve a lot. I don't think I ever had a New Year's Eve off. I think I worked every New Year's Eve. And that was a scary night. Because I put 300 to 350 miles a night on the car. Driving different places. Several counties worth of places. And all the drunks, 4th of July, New Year's Eve, Veterans Day, Memorial Day, not so much Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving was more of a family holiday, so not as many people, some did, but not as many people got drunk and drove because they usually had their kids with them. But those other holidays is a lot of adult party time. And these suckers would drink all day long. And then they'd get on the road. And it was scary. You'd be going down the road and watching the car ahead of you. And watching the car come up behind you, the headlights coming up behind you doing this. It's like, holy crap. You did not want to be on the roads at all. Still cutting pretty well. Took off quite a bit. And right back into the brush it went. Okay, let's see if this will work. When you do it this way, you got to kind of press down with a stick to get that soap onto your head. There we go. Yeah. Mucho better. I worked a lot of sites too, standing posts. Did a lot of apartment complexes. Section 8 housing, government assisted housing in the ghetto in Tampa. Been shot at more times than guys that went to Afghanistan and Iraq. Thank God they were all bad shots, because even as big as I was, they couldn't hit me. Had fireworks launched at me. Got jumped by a guy with a bat. Knocked all my teeth out. Almost all of them. Cracked most of them. Had guys try to run me over in their cars in parking lots. It was just a grand old time. I worked sections of South St. Petersburg, Florida, I should say. I worked sections there in the south side that were so bad. One guy on the post, apartment complexes. One guy. Me. All by myself. I worked those sections where the cops wouldn't go in unless there was 2 per car, and they went in with 2 cars. They would not go in with any less than 4 officers for anything. They didn't even patrol the area. They only went in when they got a 911 call. That's how bad the areas were. And then they wouldn't roll in unless they were 2 cars deep, 4 officers deep. I worked one place in Tampa that all the ones I worked in Tampa, all the apartment complexes were in bad neighborhoods, but this one, teenagers and 20-somethings thought it would be fun one night to throw eggs and ice cubes at me. I'm just out there doing a job. I wasn't harassing anybody. I was friendly with everybody, or tried to be, anyways. But when you're enforcing rules and they don't like it, they get pissy. Yeah, that night they must have thrown 3 dozen eggs at me through the course of the night, and they must have emptied 5 or 6 refrigerators of all their ice cube trays, throwing ice cubes at me. Yep, doing a good job. Very little stubble left. Except for my trouble areas, which, of course, which are always going to be extra stub leaf because they don't want to cut. For some reason those areas do not want to cut, even with a leaf and its pivoting action. I think they actually cut a little better with a fixed double edge razor than they do with the pivoting head leaf. Alright, not going to make the mistake I did last time. Front to back this time. Against the grain. Yeah. I did a second back to front, but like I said, this section through here, right through here through the top, it doesn't matter because nothing grows there anyways. Hasn't for years. A lot of toe scraping going on right here. I had one place I was working, I was taking a little break after walking around for a little over an hour. I was sitting in my car. It was a company car. It was a patrol vehicle. I was sitting there, and all the drug dealers used to hang out across the street at a little convenience store across the street. And I was sitting there, just sitting in my car. That's where my car had been parked. I didn't move over there to watch them or anything. I was just sitting in my car. But they happened to be straight across from me, where I could see them. And they didn't like me sitting there. And they were yelling and cussing at me from across the street. Which, didn't make sense to me because I knew every one of them and I knew where every one of them lived. And one kid, I don't know which one it was because I never saw his face. All I saw was his arm come around the corner of the building like this with a gun in his hand. And he only like popped out one eye and he took a shot at me sitting in the car. He missed the car by 3-4 feet, hit the dumpster next to me. But since he was using, I think it was a 380, I don't think it was a 9mm because the shot sound wasn't loud enough to me for a 9mm. He hit the dumpster and the bullet ricocheted off the dumpster and hit the driver's side mirror on the outside of the door and broke it. Broke the plastic. The bullet went through hit the dumpster, went through the plastic and hit the back side of the mirror and cracked the mirror and knocked it off the little mount it was on and inside the housing. And the bullet stopped inside the plastic casing on the outside. Was sitting there where the mirror would normally sit. So, buddy, I was stationary and you couldn't hit me sitting in a car. It was hot out too. I had the window down. I had all the windows down. Through here, as always, and a little bit in my channel on the back of my head. Yeah, I'd known which kid had done that. I would have been at his house waiting for him to come home. And him and my pepper sprayer nightstick would have had a little talk. I had one guy, this one complex one time, he came up to me and he wanted to start a, he was high or he was drunk and his buddies were with him and he was just trying to impress them. He must have made some bet or something. He came up and he wanted to start a fight with me. So I pulled out my nightstick, my asp, and I flipped it open. Asp is the collapsible baton. They're only about yay big until you shake it. Do that and it goes out yay big. I had a 21-inch long asp. I pulled my asp out. It's like, oh, you're not going to fight like a man? Fight with your hands? Why do you think I wear the Batman belt? For fun? I'm not here to go toe-to-toe with you and hand-to-hand, buddy. I'm here to win. He started giving me shit about it. I said, what? You want the nightstick? You want the asp? Yeah, you give me the ass, I'll whip your ass. So I tossed him my asp. He didn't catch it straight up. He did a little fumble thing and he finally caught it. And when he looked up from catching his asp, he was looking down the barrel of a 9mm. Your choice. You wanted the asp. Well, you're coming at me with a weapon now. Guess what? That guy dropped the asp and took off running so damn. We ran right through his buddies. He ran right. He took off so fast. You seen a car rev up to like $5 grand, dump the clutch, and leave a trail of rubber for the tires? That's what his sneakers were doing on the asphalt. That's how fast he was running. His buddies were giving me a rash of crap about it. It's like, I told you, I'm not here to go toe to toe with you, hand to hand. I'm here to win. You wanted to challenge me. Well, what's the old saying? Don't take a knife to a gunfight. That's just some of the crazy shit I've dealt with. I can feel it, I can't hear it. I can hear that. Okay, we're going to let that go as is. Yeah, I was a supervisor too. When I was doing patrol, I'd go around and check guys on post to make sure they were okay. They had everything, nothing was going on. They were doing their job. And when there was nothing like pulling up on a site and find a guy in his car asleep. I found several people asleep. One woman had a pillow and blanket with her, and she was all snuggled up in her car. It's like they're paying you to watch the property, not sleep all night. But this one guy pulled up on one time. I wasn't sleeping. I was napping. Excuse me? I wasn't sleeping. I was just taking a nap. Couldn't help but laugh. I mean, seriously. This is what the guy tells me. I'm not sleeping. I'm just taking a nap. And yes, this is a dry shave right here because I got some bad stubble right there. Okay. A little bit on this side too. That's okay. My skin's tough. I can take that. Alright, now that's gone. Alright, now we're good. Had one car dealership. They were having a sale. And they were they had the Evel Knievel had just died a couple months prior to this. You guys remember Evel Knievel? Motorcycle stunt rider, used to jump stuff, failed at the Grand Canyon jump and all that. Anyways, they had a display of all his, like his motorcycle, his uniforms, his trophies, pictures of his jumps and stuff. It all came in a trailer, and all they did was open it up so you could see what was going on. Well, they had security outside because they didn't want anybody stealing anything. I pull up and the guy's snoring. He's just out, sound flicking asleep. So I get into his ass a little bit, and he's like, I don't know what anybody's worried about. Nobody wants this shit anyways. He doesn't even want it. Hell, he died to get away from it. Had another guy who was working a construction site. I pulled up to check on him. He wasn't there. He called in. He wasn't there. I tried calling him. He wouldn't answer the phone. He wouldn't answer his cell. Like, what the hell is this guy? His dad also worked for us, so I called his dad to ask him, and he goes, I don't know, he went to work, because his dad was off that night. He's like, I don't know, he went to work, I don't know what's going on. So, I had to stay on the site, because somebody needed to be there. So, I stayed, little witch Hazel. I stayed on the site. About an hour and a half later, he shows up. And he's been drinking. I could smell it on his breath. I could smell the beer on his breath. I'm like, where the hell have you been? So I'm getting into his ass a little bit, and he's like, I just went over to, we have a thing in Tampa called Gasparilla Days. It's the pirate invasion of Tampa. Jose Gaspar invaded Tampa. But they had this boat parade and a parade through Ybor City, which is part of Tampa. This cigar city, they have a parade and everything, and everybody dresses up in costumes and everything, and they have a big, the streets are closed off, they have just a big ass party. And it was Gasparilla time for this. He'd gone to Gasparilla and gotten a couple drinks at the bars. And in the back seat of his car, he had a different shirt. So he took his uniform shirt off, put the shirt on, went to Gasparilla, and came back drunk. His last day on the job, I had to call somebody else to come in and finish his shift because I couldn't let him work drunk. And besides that, he pissed me off by leaving. Aqua Velva Ice Blue. It's like, I always said this about security, and I did operations manager. I ran the office. I did the payroll. I did the scheduling. I took care of problems. We had the office manager. He did sales, and he ran the overall office. But pretty much, I did it because he was always out checking on clients and whatnot. When I was in operations, I really learned one thing. The guys doing security, women doing security, people doing security were doing it because they couldn't figure out how to run a cash register at Circle K. And that's God's honest truth. My Johnson & Johnson baby lotion. If I had a nickel for every stupid person I worked with, I'd be a millionaire. I swear to God. I'm sure some of you guys have worked with some pretty stupid people too. Anyways, this video is getting a little long. Sorry I'm babbling again. But anyways, I got a lot of stories about work if you want to hear them. I really do. Done with the babbling fat guy in the camera. You're in the chair next. Guys, have a happy new year. I should see you before then. But anyways, have a happy new year and take care out there and happy shaves.